Hello and welcome to the Audible, the quarterback analysis podcast. I'm Big Italy 42, talking here about quarterback options for Week 7. And as we've seen the past few weeks, we've seen some guys in good spots, some guys in bad spots, some disappointments, and then we've seen some cheap guys really pay off. But the guy that you're going to be looking at this week that a lot of people are looking at as well, that makes a lot of sense here, is Carson Palmer, the Arizona Cardinals. He's got a phenomenal matchup this week facing the Ravens. And the Ravens have allowed more points to opposing quarterbacks than any other team in the league. Carson Palmer, 6,700 on DraftKings, 82 on FanDuel. And it's a primetime game. He's second in the league in touchdown passes. Team total of 28 points. I mean, everything right here is pointing to Carson Palmer having a huge game. And as our author here at Zach Scott Moxie points out, it's an even better spot for Palmer when you look at these numbers, how close he is to the top, but 14th in pass attempts. So this is a Ravens team I mentioned has been horrible against the pass. 11 touchdown passes and 286 yards a game so far. It's not even close how bad this team has been against in the passing game against opposing quarterbacks, I should say. So Carson Palmer, an elite play, going to be a very popular play here this week. Next up, Phillip Rivers coming off a 500-yard game last week, 8,000 on FanDuel, 65 on DraftKings. Vegas team total of 25.5 in this one. And leading the NFL in attempts and yards per game, 12 touchdown passes. Now face the Raiders, who are sitting at 31st in passing yards per game at 299 points there. And another thing that's great is the Raiders allow the most fantasy points to tight ends, and one of the best in the business is on Phillip Rivers' side here, and Antonio Gates, 9 catches in each of his first 2 starts since the return from his suspension. So Phillip Rivers, if you're not paying that little bit extra there for Carson Palmer, Phillip Rivers makes for a great play as well. Value cash game play. A lot of people talking about Matt Stafford last week. He certainly did not disappoint and threw for over 400 yards and 4 touchdown passes, officially 4, depending on what your thoughts are on that Golden Tate touchdown. But either way, got the points for all those. Vegas team total of just 21 here for the Lions. And this is an interesting matchup here against the Vikings, where he threw for 286 yards and 2 scores against them in week 2. And this is a situation where they do not have a consistent running game. They've got some injuries as well. And Matt Stafford is $7,400 on FanDuel, 57 on DraftKings. It's not an ideal matchup, but it's a matchup that he certainly can't exploit. And you got to think by sheer volume alone that he should be able to pay off his salary and hopefully have some upside as well. We saw Calvin Johnson finally have a breakout game, and if he can continue that this week, then you got to like Stafford's chances of paying off his tag here. Next up, the opposite side of that game, Teddy Bridgewater for the Minnesota Vikings, 6,600 on FanDuel, 51 on DraftKings. Vegas team total of 23.5, so they're slight favorites in this game. And Teddy has been, I guess, the new Alex Smith, game manager, as Zach puts it here, and he's only thrown for over 250 yards in one game, and he's averaged 29.2 attempts, but has a solid matchup against the Lions. The Lions are dead last in yards allowed per attempt at 9.1, 266 passing yards per game. Bridgewater only threw the ball 18 times against the Lions in week 2, completed 14 of those, but now with Stephon Diggs kind of emerging as an elite weapon for him, he finally has that go-to guy. Got to imagine there's going to be more running space for Adrian Peterson, which he did not have last week either, which should give him a nice amount of balance here. So Teddy Bridgewater, if you're going to go cheap, he makes for a nice filler cash game play. Not a ton of upside, so probably a guy that's best reserved for cash games rather than GPPs, but certainly give him a look here as well. Next up, the elite GPP play section, and Zach's got Andrew Luck here at the top. Vegas team total of 28.5, $8,900 on FanDuel, 76 on DraftKings. Luck threw the ball 50 times last week in his return from injury, completing 30 of them, had 312 yards, 3 scores, and did not throw an interception, which is phenomenal for Luck, who really struggled with turnovers early in the season. He's also rushed for at least 20 yards in each game that he's played this season. Now facing the Saints, who are second to only Baltimore in fantasy points allowed to quarterbacks. The Saints have been a terrible defense. They've been an awful defense for years, allowing 272 passing yards a game, over 27 points. Colts have the second highest team total on the board. Got to expect that Andrew Luck, as he looked like he was back last week. He didn't look elite like he has in the past, but give him one game to shake off the rust. Looks like he's in a great spot here this week, and he should certainly produce. Drew Brees on the opposite side of that one. This one's expected to be a shootout. Saints with a 24-point team total. Brees comes in at 84 on FanDuel, 7,000 on DraftKings. Third in the NFL in passing yards per game with 323. 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Colts are allowing 24.5 points a game, and the fourth most total yards per game there as well. And 289 of those yards coming through the air. So that's been a really big struggle. And Brees has been throwing an average of 41.8 times per game. So once again, another one of these guys, a volume passing attack is expected to be high scoring. Expect Brees to be airing this one out and looking for some big time upside there as well. Value GPP plays. One of my favorite quarterbacks in the NFL, Brian Hoyer, $6,900 on FanDuel, 53 on DraftKings. Vegas team total of just 20. That's certainly not scaring me off. Looks like it's not scaring Zach off. They only had a 21-point team total last week. And last week was phenomenal. 293 yards, 3 scores. And he's averaging over 268 passing yards per game last week, or this season. Miami's only allowing 238 passing yards a game and less than 2 touchdowns. But Hoyer now has the most reliable wide receiver in all of football thus far this season, DeAndre Hopkins. Hopkins is absolutely on fire, has not even come close to being stopped this season, and he's getting a ton of targets. If you have an elite weapon like that, gotta like the quarterback's potential here, and Hoyer represents a very nice value as well, so that's a great spot there. Next up, the final value play, Landry Jones of the Pittsburgh Steelers, $6,000 on FanDuel, 51 on DraftKings, Vegas team total hovering right around 24. And we know Michael Vick's not going to play, thankfully. Looks like Ben Roethlisberger will probably sit out this one. We don't know that for sure, but it looks likely that he sits. And Jones looked great in his debut last week against a good Cardinals defense. 8 for 12 for 168 yards and 2 scores. Granted, a lot of that was that long touchdown pass to Martavis Bryant where Bryant did all the work, but he looked good. And this is a Chiefs secondary that's horrible. They've allowed 14 passing touchdowns, second most in the league, 277 passing yards per game. They're really struggling to stop wide receivers. Now you got a guy who can get the ball down the field, unlike Michael Vick. You've got Martavis Bryant is going to be a popular value. Antonio Brown now in a phenomenal matchup. So Landry Jones, I have more faith in him personally due to the weapons he has at his disposal than I do in Jones himself. But it seems like he has the potential to put up some solid numbers, and he's really, really cheap. So give him a look there as well. That's going to wrap things up. Find us on Twitter at DF Cafe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out the rest of our great content at dailyfantasycafe.com.